attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hey volleyball fans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
You know the saying, April showers bring May flowers. Well, it's true for heart health, too. Sprinkling in a few small changes can make a big impact on your heart health. Try adding a vegetable to your dinner or no salt seasoning. Looking for support in making these changes? Join a workshop to learn more about a healthy lifestyle. Search Chronic Disease Nebraska for more details. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome in to We Talk Facts with 9-year NBA veteran and Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland and 2-time Nebraska Football National Champion Clester Johnson. Talking and taking names in sports and day-to-day living. Sit back, relax, and join the show with 9-year NBA vet and Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland. And 2-time Nebraska Football National Champion, Clester Johnson.
Yes. And you know what it is. It is WTF Thursday, Thirsty Thursday. And you know where Stricky's sitting here. Yeah. Uncle Kevin Meyer came through, laid a little something, left a little something for his boy to tap in on this wonderful Thursday. Beautiful day outside. And before we get everything started, shout out to K.com. Down there in Dallas, Texas. His birthday today. We love K.com. We had a nice little time not too long ago. A great LeBron and Jordan debate. We got after it. Me and my guy, Tres Van Street, Bo Johnson. How are you, my friend? We took it to the young fellas a little bit, my boy.
I believe we won. I mean, today I'm going to call this Thirsty Thoughtful Therapy Thursday. But yes, we did a great job. I think that
they did a good job too. I got to give them credit.
I'll get some film on that, Eric. Yeah. I'll get some film on that so we can clip some of our highlights.
Yeah,
and share it to the world.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It was a great little debate. Now it's a debate on today of different topics that we got going up. We got a good show lined up for you guys today. Ja Morant, we'll talk about the NBA. And some adjustments that may need to be made potentially. We see this at different times, different types of adjustments. We saw this back in the Allen Iverson day when they talked about the dress code, and we talk about different things. Obviously, the fighting rules and all that stuff has changed, the increase on the fines and all of that. But we're going to definitely get into that. We'll talk about Luka's return to Dallas, Texas with the Lakers this time and the emotional time that he had in that early moment right before during the introductions, and what they did to the Mavs. I mean, obviously the Mavs are down. You know, they don't have their pretty much their full team, but AD was available. came up a little short. They looked really good and find themselves in the third slot in the NBA right now, battling it out, hoping to remain there, I'm sure. And let's get into it. Sibo.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about this Ja Morant thing, man. The question then becomes, when you look at what's going on with Ja Morant, obviously he'd been wasn't suspended, but was fined for the gun show. Ja Wick is what we call him. Showing the pistols and all of that. Now, the thing is, man, is if we get into this and we're talking about whether or not they ban the gun gesture for all players, does that include, though, if we're going to do that, does that include the arrows as well? Is that something else that you probably would want to add into that?
I remember Miami went through this in the late 80s and 90s where they created all these different rules in regards to celebrations when it came to college football. It culminated to the Cotton Bowl game against Texas A&M, where I want to say Miami had 200 and, we can maybe look this one up, but I want to say they had over 200 yards of penalties that game, just due to all the different gestures they were doing and gunshots. They were doing the gunshots and everything. And I believe that, yes, they're going to have to do a sweeping rule change for everybody in the NBA, because especially Ja Morant, somebody who, what I think is going on with Ja, I'm going to be real honest with you. Ja is in Memphis, Tennessee. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
I sent you something a little bit earlier about that, Sibo. It's the roughest. It's the roughest. One of them. One of the roughest.
Listen,
Top 5.
they gets busy in Tennessee. Like it's for real. It's the real deal down there. And they're not playing games. And I really believe what's happening to Ja. I know that Ja is probably surrounded by some of the influence in Memphis. And for a guy who was raised like he was in a two-parent home, seemed like he was suburban to a degree, wasn't highly recruited. He had a great story coming up through high school and on to college and how he was discovered. And it really just seems like he has been inundated by the influences of Memphis. And, as a young black man, I think what happens is you want to prove that, you want to prove your toughness. You want to prove that you're quote unquote down. And if you're young and impressionable, you can get caught up. I'm just telling you, it's very easy to get caught up in, I'll do what I say I'll do. I'm here to prove a point. I'm a man. I handles mine. Like, you know what that means, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not bold enough, if you're not secure enough in who you are as a man, you can definitely get caught up in that lifestyle. And I'm just going to tell you, if his father don't get a hold of him and sit him down and reset him, we're going to see our first $200 million person in jail. And he's going to think that that's cool. I think right now he thinks that what he's doing is cool, being a guy who shows guns and want to be a tough guy, want to show that, hey, I'm down. I'm telling you, he's about to whisk all that away. I'm just telling you, if somebody don't get a hold of this guy, it's gone.
Well, I think it's not even it's on top of that. Let's just say it's not just that also, but there's a lot of cats out there, Cless, that will test your chest, so to speak.
Test
you know
your gangsta? Test your gangsta?
They will listen. The thing about it is you play that, and you put that energy out there. That's the way I think about it, man. It's a reciprocal energy thing, like a thing where it's very similar to attraction, right? it's the birds of a feather flock together type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start attracting that energy towards you, man, and next thing you know, gunplay is happening, and that's the thing that I think is also worrisome about it. Let me ask you this question: they did the same thing, and then this is why I think it goes just beyond not necessarily the gunplay, and the potential things that can happen with that. But remember when Sam Cassell used to do the big balls? And like I didn't really see that as too bad. Now that's why I think it comes down to image. It's an imagery thing, right? It's one of those things where you put out, you want to put out a product. So you got to be mindful of what that product could be attributed to, who's watching. And one thing that I found about the NBA, and I've got to be real about this part of it, is it's kind of a trickle-down effect, Sibo. And Harrison, we ain't forgot about you, my boy. We know you over there. But it's a trickle-down effect, right? Meaning there's things like the beard, what's my guy? Gosh darn it. James Harden. It's the James Harden two-step, that kind of trickled down. You see a lot now of the young players to include AAU and beyond and below. They're doing the ice in the veins. Like
that was D'Lo started that. And obviously the Steph Curry 3 is the most obvious trickle down. Steph Curry's 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
I know that's more of the game than personality, but yeah, there's always a trickle down from the best.
Exactly, right? So I can understand why they see that, because you probably don't want young teenagers going around, I got these big old, balls, type deal. So that's the thing I think it also happens, Sibo.
Let me add something. I really believe that David Stern was a little bit tougher than Adam Silver.
That's a fact.
It's Silverman. Is it Silverman?
Silver.
Adam Silver. I think that Adam Silver is a lot looser with allowing the players to express themselves a little bit more. But I think David Stern he understood that shield was a business, and that you just can't go out and do certain things that will reflect poorly on this business. And I think that sometimes these young guys, they don't recognize or realize that they are in a business. This is all, they're getting paid, Eric. They're getting paid so much money that sometimes they just forget that it's not about you. And there are sponsorships. There are families watching. There are a lot of people in those offices that work in all of these different NBA front offices that depend on these jobs. And at some point, that money there'll be a point of diminishing return. Like somebody will start to say, hey, listen, I'm getting nothing from my money being advertised here. I'm going to pull back because these guys are a little bit out of control. This is not family friendly. This is not what I want my customer base to see. So listen, if you want to do and be what you want to be, you need to go start your own thing.
Harrison, as a younger man coming up through the ranks, how do you view, the antics? Because they did the same thing in football. Like I personally think they took this part out of football because of marketing.
But him in particular, Eric, he's had 2 cases already.
Right. Yeah, but like, for example, taking the helmet off, they didn't want them.
Roger Goodell's got a better grip on the NFL, though. Like, you even saw that during the even when Kaepernick was kneeling. Like, I thought Roger Goodell was like, they didn't shun it. They didn't necessarily applaud it either. They just took a very neutral approach. And Adam Silver, he's just not very firm with it. Like, Stern, I think was the better commissioner at this point. Because even after COVID was just weird. Like, after COVID, like, the coaches don't have to wear jerseys anymore. Like, the apparel isn't anything important anymore. You can just show up in Slack. So when it's down to like the most basic things, like now you can just show up whenever the hell you want. Like it's at every level, it's gotten a little less strict, and those are going to have ripple effects.
So, Cless, as you look at it, what he's doing, have you seen backlash? Have you heard of any backlash? Is there, what are some of the pundits like Chuck or any of those guys, saying about it that kind of gives it a backlash? So is there backlash? Is there a need for it? And lastly, or are they just kind of picking on him because, you kind of find that one person that you want to pick on a little bit? And like, for example, there was a time where a lot of people were going in on Rasheed Wallace, just because of the antics that he was having and, showing up referees or whatever the case may be. Sometimes the referees dealt with that in their own way. Like I can tell you, let me say this also. There are other entities that deal with these things. I want you to answer that question, but there are other entities that deal with it. Because I was a referee, man. I was a referee both in high school and college. And I got to be honest, when we had our pregame conversations, we talked about who are problem children on the other side. Not children, that we would call them problem children, but who's problem children on the other side? How are we going to address them? What coach is going to be, very boisterous? How are we going to deal with them? Type of thing. So we would watch them sometimes differently than we watch at other. Sometimes you may give a little bit of leeway to the other. So what are you seeing? What are you, what's your thoughts on that?
Obviously, right now, I think it's an old school against a new school mentality. I've had a chance to look at a few podcasts with the guys that are not quite old school, but they're retired, so like the Gilbert Arenases type. And there's a conflict with, like, say, a Kenyon Martin and a Gilbert Arenas. They had a very spirited debate about if they were picking on job versus, hey, you work for a corporation and it's not your rules. Regardless of what you think, you get paid by them. So if they want you to dress a certain way, then, if they want you to stop doing certain gestures, you got a choice. I mean, your choice is to say, I'm done. If you
or
want
be
to.
Marshawn Lynch and say, I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Marshawn Lynch. But then, of course, the old school guys, Charles Barkley's, the Shaquille O'Neal's, even the guys on, your Stephen A. Smiths. I think they're trying to be as understanding as they can be with the new generation. They have capitulated to the new generation, I believe. They've tried to take a softer approach, knowing that when we grew up, it was a lot tougher. Eric, think about your pops and how he treated you in regards to certain rules and regulations. It was not a democracy. Right? It was not a democracy.
Not at all. We got to start. That's WTF after dark type stuff. Talking about my pops and how he.
That's right. And all I'm saying is this: like Harrison mentioned, I think that David Stern is an old school. He had an old school approach to the NBA. He wanted to really guard it with a certain attitude. He wanted to make sure it was clean cut and that everybody was following the rules. I remember the big beef with, Allen Iverson was probably the first one that really tried to buck the system. He bucked the system with the braids and the tats. And I think
the clothes. He come in with the big jeans and the Jabot jeans or the Sean John outfits and all. Yeah.
David Stern had a very tough time. I think he had a tough time with that because, again, he's like, listen, you work for us at the end of the day. And we want you to be free. We want you to feel like you're at home, but you also work for us. So, it's a balance. I think it's a balance. But with Ja, I just think that I'm going to tell you, to me, ultimately what it comes down to is his father, right? I just think that T. Morant is being a yes man right now. He needs to go to his son and say, hey, listen, you messing up the money. Right? Not only are you messing up the money,
messing up the brand. Because that's the thing. They are the brand. The thing I think a lot of people don't understand is you are the brand. You are CEO of Erick Strickland Incorporated or John Moran.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Like some people don't care about the brand. But I do feel like he's messing up some future opportunities.
That part.
But again, Eric, some people don't care about their brand, right?
Yeah.
Some people don't care to want to make it ain't about the money for them. Sometimes they made so much money that they ain't never seen before that they're like, hey, listen, I'm straight. Like now I'm just being who I want to be. Yeah. I'm a firm believer in this, Eric. Money shows you who you actually
really are.
Right? We talked about that before. You know, if you are a butthole without money,
you're a super butthole
when you get money.
Right.
Or a-hole, if you want to say a-hole.
Whatever.
The money and the shot and the light just shines on who you are as a person. That's what
the last thing I'll say and the last thing I'll throw out, because I think you're onto something, Sibo, because it's not only that you represent your own brand, but you represent the brand of the league as well, right? And I've seen, and so my question is going to be this, and then I'll tell you how I got there. The question then becomes, how much are you messing up the brand? And has the social media age influenced that? Because everybody is in some form or fashion looking for 15 minutes of fame. Because I've seen like just not recently, I saw this lady that just finally got her award off probation period working for an airline, and she's TikToking and she's on there doing her thug thizzle, and she's twerk working. And they hit her with the
she twerking? She twerking online too?
She was
twerk working. Job. She on probation now. She's just doing everything.
Yeah, they gave her the axe, and she hit the circuit. But that's the thing. I don't know if because you see it. You see nurses and you see all these different people. Like you got to wonder, are you representing the brand by what you're doing? So I don't know. What y'all quick thoughts before we go to break?
I'm just going to say this. I'll say this. You just hit something that just really kind of worked my nerves, is people who feel like they need to broadcast at work and at home, like just they need to tell everything that's going on. Like, who are you talking to? Like,
story time.
I'm just trying to figure out, who are you talking to? Now there are certain people who have an audience. They may have a podcast. I don't know. They may have a show that they do and they want to get some interaction. But, so for some people who work at jobs, and do outside opinions really matter for what you're doing? And when you start getting input, is it just to help justify your behavior? Like, I've tried to figure out why people do that. It just, I don't know. It bugs me. But
Harrison, any last thoughts before we go to break?
Yeah, I think the reason why so many people do it today is it can be anybody. Like if you want to be an actor, like when you were growing up, Strick, you had to go to Hollywood, you had to find an agent, you had to do things. Now it's like you just open up your phone at work, and if that one pops off, you might be a celebrity. Right? It's just that easy.
It's
and like
easy,
people hold on to that hope till the day, whatever day they quit social media. That's all I got on why that happens.
Well, that's a wild topic. What say you? 402-464-5685.
I eat a hot tour girl,
Right, exactly that. And then she did the rug pull, and then she vanished. You guys ever see all that with the crypto coin?
Hot tour.
Yeah, before rug pulled everybody. A bunch of money and
you didn't have to do that. Please don't do that again.
Pause. That's
a major pause.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Luka and his return to Dallas when we get back right after this 937 Ticket.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's becoming a wild ride in the car market these days, but Koppel wants to let you know and assure you that we are staying the course with our usual pricing model. We've still got huge discounts and low interest rates, so let's get after it. We've got over $12,500 off list price or 0% APR right now on select new vehicles. New and pre-owned, our lots are full, so now's the time to buy. Please stop on in the dealership or check us out at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G187747. All deals with roof credit.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, 4-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
It's the problem no one wants to talk about, the middle child of driver safety. In the time of doing everything in the car with 3 screens and a surround sound symphony sending you somewhere sunny, driving takes a back seat to swiping and replying. And while you're eating and taking a sip from your drink, more than 14% of fatal and injury crashes are being caused by distracted driving. This is distracted driving for real. Let's start driving for real. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Nebraska Veterans Aid is here for veterans and dependents facing unforeseen financial emergencies. Get assistance with food, fuel, shelter, clothing, transportation, and even funeral and medical expenses. If you're a veteran facing a financial emergency, apply for Nebraska Veterans Aid through your county veteran service officer. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/NVA. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Welcome back to WTF We Talk Facts. Strick here, as well as Clester Johnson. Watch the Throne. Trez Van Street is where you can find him on X. And our guy who's running the ones and twos, Harrison Arns, over there on the mic. Big things happen over this year. It's one of the most mind-blowing things that had occurred in a long time. It left a lot of people going buck wild crazy about, one, how it transpired, about that, one, you didn't put it out there as to Luka's availability. And so you basically was negotiating against yourself. And then you go 1 for 1. Like, I think you would have had to, if it was a legit thing, I think you would have had to have gotten like an Austin Reeves or somebody else.
Yeah, that's
deal,
the biggest
right?
stinker in it for me, is like how is just a 1 for 1.
Yeah, that's
Luka's not even in his prime yet. AD's past his prime.
Right? So
there's no world
it
that makes sense.
You understand the money, but it don't make sense, right? It just didn't make sense. But here's the thing. Luka Doncic goes in with the third ranked in the West, Los Angeles Lakers, with the starting lineup of Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Jackson Hayes, who only played 14 minutes. So they're literally playing small ball. They're playing basically, in essence, Golden State ball in their own little way.
Jackson Hayes isn't there yet to be a solid starting 40 or 30 plus minutes a game.
No. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, and then who Gabe Vincent gave him 17 minutes, and Jared Vanderbilt, defensive purposes, gave him 13. But Dory Finney-Smith, who is also a similar type player, gave him 33 minutes, and that's just because of his length and size and defense. So he goes in, Luka Doncic goes in and goes 16 for 28, 7 for 10 for 3. Led them in rebounds with 8, led them in assists with 6, and comes up with 4 steals. So he had an amazing day.
45 points.
45 points on his return to Dallas with a win. And what was interesting, Seabo, and I'm going to let you go, was if you heard the crowd. Look, the crowd was every bit as loud as if you would have been in an NCAA tournament game, because that was rowdy. That Houston.
There's some emotions in that arena.
Man, and as he was sitting there, you saw it come to light. He was very emotional, kind of teared up a little bit when he was the last one called. They brought him to during the announcements in the beginning. But what's your thought about that, as far as, was it a good trade? Do you know, because they were going in on Nico. I mean, they were basically
he was hiding at points, trying to just stand behind people so the camera wasn't.
They were going in on Nico, and I know Nico personally, and I felt bad. Like,
I think he's the scapegoat still.
It's
all speculation.
We'll talk about that. We definitely. That's part of my second part of my thought process. Go ahead, Class. What's your initial thoughts? Was it a good trade? Did it make sense, or are they going to catch the backlash, or in the long term, is it going to be better for them, being that they don't have to pay the $350 million basically around that number of a supermax deal that they were going to have to pay him, and now he's really only going to make basically almost half of that on a supermax deal by going to the Lakers. What's your thought?
I watched the game last night, or at least most of it, and the crowd obviously are still pro Luka. He didn't ask for a trade. I don't even think he knew about the trade. So therefore, the crowd is going to be on his side, because I think they were he was just as surprised as they were.
Yeah.
I believe that there are things behind the scenes that we don't know about, and it's always that way. We're all speculating to why. We think it might be about the money. Some people say it might be about his defense. Some people think that maybe it might be a maturity issue. Some people say it's a weight issue. Maybe they're trying to project down the road. Will he fall off a cliff and not be the same type of player that he has been his first few years? We're all just speculating. And but really what it comes down to is favorability for your fans. You know, at the end of the day, there's a few components that go with the NBA. It's money, you know, revenue, it's a fan appreciation. You're still trying to get people to come into the building to watch the game. And I'm going to tell you, like you guys mentioned, Luka is one of those stars on the level of, you know, I put him, you know, right where, like say a Dwayne Wade, you know, maybe not quite a LeBron or Steph. You know, there's a few players where they can only be traded themselves. Like they can't be traded. Like I'm surprised that Luka didn't have a no trade clause. That his agent didn't put something together. Maybe it was because he was young and he couldn't. He's still kind of proving himself.
You don't think about that after somebody does that, Cless. You know, after the first four before they re-sign him, you're like, you look at the history of the team and you see how committed to you know, their players they are. You look at Dirk and spending his whole career there, and
Cuban was in control too. And Cuban,
so that's where I was about to go.
Luka's back the entire time.
That's where I was about to go next. So you look at that facet of it. You look at Cuban, and you saw, like, if you've seen videos of Cuban, he looks sick. Like, he looked sick to his stomach hearing everything that he was hearing in that building, and you can tell in his emotion that there were some forms of regret that he because there's two parts to this, Cless, and I want you to answer. The first part is you're thinking the love that you have for the team and the tenure in which you had it. And then you're thinking that you're approaching your 70s and that you're thinking family, you're thinking children's children, and you're about to rake in for what you pay for. You're about to rake in a couple more bills, ends on that. And then you're thinking, I love this team. The other group, you're hoping loves it as much as you do, but they're thinking business. And then once the business that they're thinking is not able to come to fruition, now they're thinking bottom line. Don't want to pay him, didn't get my casino bill because they killed it in the legislative vote. And then now you send the player that there's no way that you want to say it. Me personally, I'm going to say it's karma because you sent Stricky away. You shouldn't have sent Stricky out and you wouldn't have to deal with that karma. But anyway, here we go. What's up? Talk to me.
You the curse of the Bambino, huh?
Yeah. They're gonna look like the Red Sox now. Balls going between the legs.
Let me give the audience a little bit of history. E. Strick was a member of the Dallas Mavericks. He knows some of these people personally. Mark Cuban, Eric worked for Mark Cuban for an extended period of time. Like he mentioned, he knows Nico. He knows a lot of these people. So he also probably knows what the community is thinking. Eric still has close ties to the Dallas community and surrounding areas. So he knows that people are a little bit taken back about the moves that have been made by the organization. I think Eric, and I'm speaking for you a little bit, Eric, is I think that you would say that Mark Cuban would not have made that move.
No.
He would have rode with his superstar and maybe added some pieces to the superstar to help him, sort of like a Dirk Nowitzki. Like, I think most people thought that Luka would be the next Dirk.
Yeah.
That he would finish his whole career in Dallas. That he would be sort of like a Kobe Bryant or like a Steph Curry. Like, I can never see Steph Curry being traded. That'll never happen. He just means too much to the community. And I think that they will see eventually, Eric, the revenue that Luka brought in and how that might decrease some, because just from people who are just kind of taken back by this thing, you also have that rebellious crowd. I mean, you have that crowd out there that you'll have sponsors that say, listen, I'm not trying to get behind no Anthony Davis. What's his nickname? Is it Sometime Davis or something like that?
Gosh, it's an acronym for his name.
Yeah.
Something. Gosh, darn it.
Every other day.
Every other day.
Or something like that. Yeah, they got nicknames for him for sure.
Yeah, they got names for him. And so to answer your question, I don't think it was a equal trade. Even looking at the game last night, Anthony Davis just sort of a slow starter. Like, I know he's a great player, but he don't wow me. Like, he's not a superstar. He's not box office. Like, he's not somebody I'm going to see. I would go to watch Luka. Like, I want to go see him play. I want to go see LeBron play. I want to go see Steph play. Like, there's certain guys, like, you are going specifically to see them. And that should have been a factor in this whole thing, is that this Anthony Davis, although a good player, and you can win a championship, but there's most years you ain't going to win a championship. Most years you're not winning a championship. So what's next? I need a superstar. I need someone that's bringing people into the building. And Anthony Davis don't do that for me.
And as we get ready to go to break, a great analogy of that would be, Cless, there's a reason why you turn on your Netflix, or there's a reason why you turn on your Prime, or you go to the movie theater. There's somebody that you want to see. If Denzel is in a movie or something like, and he's your guy, he's box office, so you want to go and see that. Tom Cruise or whoever it is, right? Obviously, Hollywood's kind of going down the tubes a little bit, but nonetheless, that's the analogy of it all, because that's why box office becomes box office, right? Like, even right now, what's going on with the Snow White situation, how it's going in the mud, is because they don't like, and they not like us.
They don't like the star. They don't like the
star. So they ain't showing up. And so, that's the thing that I think ultimately Dallas had created for themselves, is it's created a dislike, not just for a star, not for Anthony Davis, not for Kyrie Irving, not for anybody that's on that team, PJ Washington, not even for them. It's for the brand. When they look at the doggone logo now, they have a in their stomach. They want to call Earl.
But you'd be scared to fall in love with a player again,
right?
If Luke is not safe.
Yeah, that's
right?
That's a good point.
And who would want to come and be your long-term star now? Because if they could do it to him, what would they do to me? So there it is. Great stuff. We'll come back, and guess what? We got a fan favorite, a listener favorite. We got a little OG perspective when we get back. 937 The Ticket, WTF. We talking that ish.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 888-560-6197. Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
It's the two-fingered wave on a gravel road. It's letting the kids take dad's truck to prom. It's Friday nights under the lights of a hometown football field. Eustace Body Shop knows small towns. It's where our values are rooted. We treat our people right, and in turn, they treat you, our customer, right. And we give back to our communities. Not much more small town than that. Eustace Body Shop, small town service, big city technology.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
You don't have to cross your fingers when digging into the ground this spring. Start every project with a call to Nebraska 811 so utilities like LES can mark their buried lines and you can avoid injury and power outages.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
Hey Stars fans, I'm Matthew Malte, captain of your Lincoln Stars. Thank you so much for your support of us all season. Don't miss our last regular season home game Friday, April 11th when we host the Tri-City Storm at 7:05 at the Icebox. Be here to win prizes throughout the night and to cheer the boys on. Purchase your tickets for April 11th now at LincolnStars.com.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
We back on WTF We Talk Facts in order to psych. Yeah, I know, yeah, sucker. Yeah, Clester over here sending messages to the family about a moment, and yeah, Buster, I see you. It's okay though, because we're gonna have an OG perspective and talk about it. Talk to me on it.
Let's talk about it. No more hot tours on this show. Here we go. OG perspective. And the reason why we have this opportunity here, Eric,
why?
We've grown. You know, we're officially grown men by many, many years. We've are able to look back and reflect, coordinate and reflect on life, what we've been through, and what some may take for granted. Okay, here we go.
Bang, 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 bang. You got the
I got quite a few OG perspectives, so you take as long as you want on your OG perspective. However long you want to go, you go. But if you want to do more, you keep it short and sweet.
All right. So we got what? We got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
OG perspective, Eric.
Let's go.
When did you get your first phone, iPhone? When did you get your first cell phone? Let me say it like that. What age did you get your first cell phone?
Do you really want to know the OG perspective on that?
Absolutely.
All right. Now you got to remember, Stricky played baseball, so I had a little baseball money. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, there was a little Motorola. It wasn't little, but there was a Motorola phone, and that Motorola phone, Harrison, it came in a bag. So you had to carry that bag around like a little mini man purse.
How big's this bag we talking?
It was
like you're not hiding it. It's obvious you're walking around with the bag.
Yeah, there's no hiding it. It was a kind of a square, like a rectangular type bag.
What age were you, Eric?
I was a freshman in college.
Wow, you had a phone in college? Holy cow, man! I honestly, I don't think I
had the phone in college.
I want to say maybe
what was the name of that? Southwest Mobile something.
Yeah. I think maybe 23, 24 when I got my first phone.
You had that Motorola flip? You had that Motorola flip?
It was a flip. It was a flip.
Yeah.
Eric, what was your curfew growing up?
Wow. Yeah. It was probably around 1 up until my senior year. It got to no more than 2. Because see, we had fun things we could do back in there. We could go to Sprite Night. We can go to Club Max. We had teen clubs what Harrison and them didn't have. You see what I'm saying? There was nights where we could literally, and when I couldn't do it, Dad, I hope you ain't listening. Stricky would sneak out and get to it. You know what I'm saying? I was bad. I was bad out there. I snuck out there. See, I wasn't Cless. Cless had a brother he stayed with, so he was a little different. So I tried my best when I could to stay at Clester Johnson's house with the OG perspective.
Eric, did you have chores growing up? Did your parents make you do chores?
That's a fact.
What were you, Eric? There are some people out there want to know, what did you do growing up around the house?
Dishes had to be done. Lawn had to be mowed. Trash had to be taken out.
You did all that?
Be clean. Facts. Stricky had to do a lot of work. I had to build a deck. I had to build a sprinkler system. My dad was working on a car. I had to be out there. Whatever he was putting hand to a tool on, I had to be in it.
Okay.
Facts.
Eric, now this one's gonna go deeper, and we're probably gonna end the show on this one. Because you might take a while.
Elaboration.
You might take a while on this one. At what age did you experience your first heartbreak? What age were you sprung?
Can I plead the fifth? Can I plead the fifth?
Oh, there's inquiring minds out there want to know. Right. We don't need to know the name. We just want to know the age and the experience.
You're giving away too much information on this one. We need
you were a young man. We talked 20, 30 years ago. Come on now.
All right. So
we should be over it by now. We should be over it by now.
When I was a senior at Bell West, my girlfriend was a junior in college. She played volleyball for Bellevue College.
There they go.
When you were a senior in high school,
There
you
they go.
was a junior in college.
Facts.
There they go.
Incredible run.
You see what he's trying to do? He's flexing right now.
Yeah.
That's a flex. But keep going, Eric. Keep going.
So, you know, I would, you know, she had her own place. It wasn't too far from mine. So I would stay. I would stay over there sometimes. And there was one time there was a party going on, and I thought this was this guy trying to push up on it, and I wasn't happy about it. So my little heart was broken. There was a guy that they were spending a little bit too much time together having conversation. And,
All right,
I was hurt.
Let me re-clarify the question. Let me redo this question. When is a time when a girl like it's over? It's over. I'm done with you, but you wasn't ready. You're like, whoa, where did this come from?
I can't say that, Clester. I can't say that's the case.
You can't say it. Okay. You know what? Maybe that's too deep for the WTF crowd. We'll move on. We'll move on.
Yeah, we'll end on that note. But you know what it is. Another episode of WTF. We talk facts right here every Thursday, 6 to 7. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.